Hi YouTube. This is my rough country 6-inch lift Duramax dually. It's pretty high and I'm pretty short. What is up YouTube? How's everybody out there doing today? I hope you guys are having a fabulous day, and I also hope that you guys have enjoyed the past two Duramax build lift kit, rough country lift kit build on the Duramax, these last two videos. If you have, do me a favor and of course give this video a good thumbs up, because this is gonna be a very good video, very educational video on how to install the rough country lift. There's a few things that I found in the instructions that were better done another way. Not saying that, you know, rough country didn't have really good instructions. Their instructions are great. Just in my case, for this truck, I found some other ways of doing things to make it a little bit better, a little bit easier, and stuff like that. So, as per the last video, you've seen we were grinding away on our differential. Well, guys, our differential is installed, as you can see. We definitely want to show you, I want to show you the distance. Where's my light at? Oh, it's over here. I want to show you the distance that you have. Hopefully you guys can, hopefully, my light's dead. All right, now that I got a new battery in my light here, hopefully you guys can see what I'm going to be looking at here. But if you look back here, you can see the distance right there, maybe, of the shaved housing. I'm hoping you guys can see it. It's kind of dark, not gonna lie. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see the distance there. But that's why you have to shave those fins out. Now, as you can see, I shaved a little bit further back. You know, you don't need to go that far back, obviously. You just need to go to about right there, as you can see, for reference. But if you look, it is close, but it's not touching. But it definitely does look close, but it's not touching, which is good. So while installing this differential, okay, in the instructions, it tells you to put that bracket onto the differential and then install the differential together with the bracket on. I couldn't do that with this truck. I could not for the life of me get that differential at such an angle to get it up over the back cross member, the rough country cross member, and clear that on the stock front cross member of the truck. Was not happening. Me and Zach were in here for an hour just fighting with it. Not happening, no way in hell. So what I ended up doing, I ended up taking the bracket off, guys. I took the bracket off. Once I took the bracket off, easy peasy, Japanesey, it went right in. And as you can see, you have plenty of room in there to bolt that bracket on with your electric gun or air gun or whatever. Plenty of room in there. No worries whatsoever freaking ever. None. So it just was a lot easier to do, you know, be able to put that differential in without the differential bracket attached, and attaching the bracket after the differential was installed. Just so much easier, so much easier. So nice little reference there for you. The one thing here is these drop brackets for your torsion bars. Now, what I ended up doing here, guys, and you've seen this in the very first video, was we ended up disconnecting the lower A-arm out of the pockets. It dropped down and cleared. I soaked these up and I marked them. As you can see, I marked them to where they went, and we just hit them off. And these things were just hanging, okay? So, instead of having, now this is for people, listen, this is for people that do not have a torsion key tool, all right? People that, you know, don't know what that tool is, or maybe get the kit and they're like, oh shit, I don't have a torsion key tool. Where can I get one? Nobody has one in stock, which is funny because I did call and nobody did have them in stock. So it was kind of like last minute. I really should have one be in a shop, but I don't work on trucks with torsion keys, except for mine. Anyways, Anyways, so what I ended up doing was, if you unbolt right above this on the other side, actually, you know what, I'm just going to show you. Alrighty, so as you can see on the other side, this was the original torsion bar, tube, whatever you want to call that, mount up above the frame. Now I found if you disconnect your transmission mount, raise your transmission up as high as possibly physically able to, as you can see my mounts are destroyed from the get-go, raise it up as much as you can actually move this bar back enough to where you could shimmy it off of these guys with a pry bar. You're gonna need a pry bar. Let me tell you, it's gonna take a little loving. It's definitely gonna take a little loving. Do not take these rivets out. You need them for reference. Leave those rivets in. I know what you're thinking. Oh, I'll just cut them rivets out, man. Take one of these mounts out, it'll be good to go. Nope, don't do that. Because you need the reference point for the rivets to put your drop bracket in. So with some finessing and with some, you know, coaching, you can get these off of here and onto the frame. Now, once they're off there and onto the frame, you have another problem. You have to get it between the frame and the ground. And don't forget, your torsion bars are still hooked up, so you have these on the way and they're knocking into the jack stands and knocking into everything and just, you know, a whole bunch of dumb shit like that. Or you can actually mark these if you wanted to and take the torsion bars out from there. Just make sure you put them in the right, you know, the right direction again, and you'll be fine. And this will be a lot easier to take out. What I ended up doing was I left the torsion bars where they were, and I was able to shimmy this over the frame and out. And once it's out, it's out. Torsion bars are staying in, keys were staying in. I didn't mess with none of this stuff, guys. It all stayed in and it worked. And now it's all back together, which I'm very, very happy about. So that is one way you can do this without a torsion key tool. Very helpful to know. Now, as you see, those rivets, you need them to align this bracket up properly to tap your drill hole or drill your holes. There is 4 per side. They are a pain in the ass. You will end up burning your hands upside down, drilling them out. And but that's just the way it is. You know, you just gotta live your best life, all right? But other than that, that's pretty much it. Everything, bracket, the drop bracket for my axle or my front hub, my front differential, the front cross member, rear cross member, everything except for these lower A-arms have all been tightened up to torque spec, and it looks, whew, it looking good. It does look good, guys. It looks very, very good. I'm extremely happy with it. Like I said, I got my ball joint in. We are now going to get ready to punch out these wheel bearings, put them in the new hubs, and then we're going to be installing the hubs. Yes, you're probably also wondering, where's your bump stop at, Andy? What the I didn't have bump stops on this thing. This thing has 500,000 miles on it. The bump stops, they were long freaking gone. So I'm not putting bump stops back in there again. I'm okay. Yeah, so gotta get the drive shaft on. I'll probably do that one of the last steps. Is pretty easy to do. All right, guys. Well, before we do that, we have to get our axles in, and we are using the spacers here. So we got them all on and torqued down. I guess that's because of the lift kit, I'm assuming. So they are on, ready to go, as you can see. Now we can punch these guys out and put them in the new knuckles now at this point. Just a little tip, while you're doing everything else underneath the truck here, guys, sit this on its ass like this, fill this up with PB Blaster, and then a day later, 2 days later, whatever it takes you to do all this stuff, put a bolt here, put it up on its ass, and this will literally pop right on out. It won't be seized in there because that stuff will go down in there and soak up that rust. Especially on a 500,000 truck, these are probably original. It'll come right out, as you can see. Very, very simple thing to do while you're doing everything else. You can soak these down. We got our axles in. Well, that axle's not in. Got our knuckles back in again. As you can see, let's go to the other side here. Whew. So close to this front end being done. Just got to do axle nuts. Got to put the new PPE tie rod ends in as well while we're here. Got to tighten up the lower A-arms, tighten up the ball joints, put cotter pins in them. and route the ABS line still. But as you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this truck is up this high right now. And look how low that spindle is. That is low. Considering I've got to still put the wheel and the tire on this thing, that is freaking low, which tells me once this thing, I'm gonna have to jack this thing up even higher to get the front wheels back on, front tires and wheels. But that tells me that this thing is going to be freaking enormous, guys. It's gonna be big. Let's keep going. We have our brake calipers on, brake brackets. Everything's tightened up here. I got a little bit of rubbing going on. I gotta fix that. You definitely wanna run the brake line behind the AR or behind the knuckle, not in front. I think before it was in front or on top, but that's not gonna work for this. You gotta run it underneath. So yeah, so the next thing we gotta do is install our rough country shocks, and then we got to do our sway bar on both sides. All right guys, you probably are going to chastise me to hell about this, but I did not install the PP tie rods. Reason being is because I'm running out of time to get this thing done, because I've got so much other shit to do, and getting those unbolted from the inside there, I'll be honest, they were kind of a pain in the ass, and it would not, it just wouldn't come loose. I didn't want to waste hours and hours and hours trying to break them loose. For right now, I'm just going to run the stock tie rods, which you guys are probably going to be like, Andy, you're nuts. You shouldn't do that. But listen, guys, I'm on a time crunch here. I've only got so much time to do this stuff on my own time, and this is it for me. So everything else is tightened up. We got the sway bar end links in. Obviously, the tie rods are in. The drive shaft's still out. We are literally ready to put the two torsion bar bolts in and lift this thing up enough to where we could put our front tires on, and then we're going to get a pretty decent idea of just how tall this freaking Duramax is going to be, guys. It is going to be ridiculously tall. I'm super duper duper excited. I'm dirty and sweaty, and I don't smell the most pleasant right now, I'll be honest with you. But man, we are almost there, guys. We are almost freaking there. Let's do it. Let's get her ready, because then all we gotta do is the back. All right, guys. Pull the, I don't even know where Zach is. Pull the jack stands out. Whew. The moment of truth, my friends. The moment of truth. Zach, let this thing down. Go slow with it. Why don't you use both hands, Goofy?
I'm eating.
Put it in your mouth.
No.
You're not going to loosen up with that like that, dude. There you go. Go slow. I have a funny feeling this thing's going to be higher than hell. Dude, I actually like that. I like that a lot, dude. That's a lot. That's not as high as I expected it to be. We haven't gotten the rear blocks out yet, but that's not as high as I expected it to be, and I'm actually very, very stupid happy with that. If it stays this height right here, guys, I will be stupid happy. A little bit higher, no big deal. But if it stays this height, yeah, definitely. Whew, definitely. All right, well, let's turn this thing around and get the back done. The back's pretty easy. It's just shackles and blocks. Not very hard to do. I don't even think I'm gonna honestly tear the rear tires off, to be honest with this thing. Let's get her outside, turn her around, get her done. Well, guys, we have the rear blocks in the truck. We actually used the hitch to lift it up and put the blocks in. It took a little finagling. We had to rearrange the rear, to make that work. But the shackles aren't in yet, just the blocks and no shocks. But here is your rough country 6-inch dually lift, ladies and gentlemen. That is big. And like I said before, the 33s don't look bad on 6 inches of freaking lift. That thing is nuts. Look at this. I can have a party in here. It's crazy. Looks a lot better with the blocks in the back. I still got to adjust the torsion bars. But there she is, boys and girls. 2001 GMC Sierra 3500 dually with a rough country lift on it. And everything, I'm telling you right now, everything fit perfect. Everything worked perfect. Everything looks perfect. And I'm extremely happy with the way this turned out. Let's get a more rear version here, whatever you want to call it, picture, profile. Man, that is big. That thing is up there. It is definitely up there. You can definitely tell it's lifted a good bit. It doesn't look like a 6-inch lift. I mean, maybe it is. I guess it is. But to me, it looks like a very, very nice, like 4-inch lift almost. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But let's button everything up. We're going to get the drive shaft on. We're going to get the shackles on, the new shocks on the back. And wrap this thing up, guys. Align the front as best we can. And take her outside and get you a nice in the sunlight picture of this Duramax. All right, guys, we have run into a little bit of an issue on the rear blocks and U-bolts for the good old Dirty Max. Not a big deal, but I definitely want to let you guys know about it if you're looking for this kit for a dually. These stock style U-bolts that Rough Country supplies to you definitely will fit the 2500 and 1500s, but unfortunately, guys, because of the dually having extra springs back here, they don't fit. They are actually too short. So I'm going to show you here real quick. Go into here and show you. But you can see how short they are back there compared to what they're supposed to be. So they're pretty short. There's only a few threads sticking out from the bottom plate on the stock plate that goes on the Duramax. But no worries, guys, because luckily I have a shop near me that does leaf springs and drive shafts, and they made me 4 new U-bolts that are 2 inches longer in length, and that will definitely fit this application just fine. So what we're doing right now is just brake clean them down. We're going to spray paint them black because obviously we're not going to get them powder coated, and we're going to install them and finish up the rear of this truck. So the other thing we did was we measured here with the measuring tape and measured up front. And as Zach was underneath, he was turning the keys up on the torsion bars to get the front to level out. I think it was like 40.5 inches for the front. And I think the back is 41 inches. So 41 inches here. And I think this is 40.5 inches here. So the front is still about 1/2 inch down from the rear, which is totally fine, totally okay with that. I definitely got to adjust my tie rods because if you look at the front of the truck, she definitely is sticking out there a little bit, you know what I mean? A little sticking out there. So I definitely want to bring the tires in a little bit. That way this thing drives good. We're gonna, once we get the rear tightened back down, we're gonna make it go forward and backwards, re-torque down the front wheels, put my silver caps back on, and then readjust the tie rods. And then obviously I'll be putting my new tie rods on at a later date, which will be soon. But the next video after this video will be the kicker bar install, which I said I wanted to do an independent video about, which I will be doing an independent video about. So let's get this all done, guys. All right, guys, holy smokes, what a freaking adventure that we have been on through and through with this 2001 Duramax DUALLY GMC Sierra 3500 with a rough country 6-inch lift. Whew, it is finally done. I definitely need an alignment. There's a few things I need to tie up, but she is looking sweet sitting underneath of this truck. And let me tell you something, she a big girl. What do you think, Zach?
I think you're gay and you're compensating.
Okay, anyways, yeah, she is a big girl. I think the front end needs lowered down just a hair, possibly. I don't know. I measured my hitch from the ground to the bottom of the hitch. It's 10 inches on flat land. We're on a kind of a hill right now. But yeah, the front I think needs I'm going to use the torsion bars to kind of take the front down maybe an inch, maybe just about an inch, a half an inch, and we should be good. But this thing is huge, guys. Huge. Big shout out to Rough Country for this amazing 6-inch freaking lift. Got the shocks on, the N3s in the back, regular shocks in the front from Rough Country. I'm so freaking stoked, guys. So freaking stoked to start driving this thing around. Next step, obviously after the kicker bars, is more than likely we're going to be looking for a set of maybe 20-inch wheels with 35s. I think 35s would be very tastefully nice for this truck. And yes, I am short. It's gonna suck getting in and out of this truck on a daily basis as I drive it. It's not gonna be fun, but I don't care because I love this truck and I think it looks freaking amazing. And we are also, think about 4,000 miles away from 500,000 miles on the old Dirty Max. So that's another big momentum milestone that I've been wanting to reach for years now, and I'm almost there guys. So there's the video, guys. The truck is almost completely done, other than the last video coming with the kicker bars. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and also do not forget to check Rough Country out. First link in the description below. Other than that, guys, deuces.